Are you learning CSS Basics for Beginners? I want to know what it is and how to understand it, learn it and use it in real world projects. If so, you're in the right place. Hi, Martin here from MDP Web Development. Today we'll be working on a project that we'll use as a reference project throughout the Web Development for Beginners playlist. Don't forget to check out the playlist from the start to get a better understanding of HTML and our reference project. It's updated each week with new videos. Be sure to stick around to the end to see how to get the project files on Git Hub to use throughout this playlist. I'll link to important videos there also. There's a link in the description down below to the GitHub repository where all the source code is. Let's get started. Cascading style sheets. Cascading means going from one to the other in a cascading effect, and style sheets means sheets to style web pages. So CSS is a programming language used to style websites. Many different styles and colors and themes can be applied to any website with CSS. CSS shows how HTML elements are to be displayed. They can be in different positions and sizes and colors. And one style sheet can style many HTML pages. This is what cascading means. Your site could have 150 pages, and you can set classes to style them all and just change it in one single place on the style sheet. You can style the same website many different ways with CSS. A website has maybe headers and footers, navigation, sections and articles. And CSS can control the layout and colors and styles and make your website look completely different by just using one different style sheet. CSS is very powerful. It can control design, layout, colors, and screen size. Design means a layout of your website. You might have headers on the top. You might have sides on the left or right. Maybe the footer might be big or small. And layouts, different orientations of your website. Colors, CSS can control all the colors in your website by setting variables, and you can change your main color scheme, and all your website will update with those colors. Another very important part of CSS is screen size or browser control. CSS can detect when the browser is opened in a window which is on a computer or a mobile or a tablet, and adjust your website accordingly. We can see here a basic CSS rule. This is a class denoted by the dot, and the class is called button. First, we have the selector. This tells the CSS what element to be styled. Then we have the declaration. This is the style to apply to that HTML element. The declaration has two parts. The property, which here is the background color, and the value, which is to set it to red. We can also see the open and close curly brackets. Here we have a basic buy button with no CSS styles applied. On the left, we have a style with dot class. This class is called button. We can see the background color set to red. And now we can see the color of the button set to white in the CSS. And now we can see the border radius set to 10 pixels. This just means have a rounded angle of 10 pixels on the corners of the button. Let's code some CSS in our reference project now. So now we're going to open Visual Studio Code and our project and a browser window on the right to preview our project. It's going to go to our desktop and double click on Visual Studio Code. Then we're going to go to the Explorer view and open folder. And mine is on the desktop, so I'm going to go Desktop, Reference Project, select Folder. And here we can see we have our HTML file. If we open the browser view, we can see the reference project folder and the index.html file we created. Now to see the browser window on the right, if you have the live server extension installed, you'll see Go Live button down here on the bottom. And if you haven't, you just have to go out to your desktop, open the folder, and click on the index.html file. So once you've clicked on that file, we're just going to click this Go Live button here. And that'll start up a new browser server window for us. So a handy shortcut for Windows to put something on the left and right is to press the Windows key and then right or left arrow and release the Windows key. Then select the one you want on the left or right. So I'll close this panel. So another handy shortcut for Windows is the zoom key. If you press CTRL, then the plus to zoom in and the negative to zoom out. So we can see here we have our Windows browser on the right. So the only difference if we had to open this manually on the desktop and click on the file is if we make changes on the left in our code editor, you would have to click refresh on the right to see it. Hi, before we move on, please don't forget to like, share, comment and subscribe so you don't miss out on any upcoming videos. Thank you. So here we are in our reference project. So let's go ahead and try our first bit of CSS. So on the left here, I'm just going to open the Explorer view and click into our index file. And to zoom in and out, just go CTRL and minus to zoom out and plus to zoom in. So CSS styles HTML elements. So in our reference project, we have many elements. And let's pick on one that's nice and easy to see. So we'll try this H1 up here at the top. You can see here in the body tag and down to the main tag, we just zoom in a small bit. We have this H1, heading 1 here, with the heading Web Development Reference Project. We can see here in the browser on the right hand side, there's the heading 1. So let's just for now go into the HTML H1 element and style it directly. This isn't normally the best practice, as CSS should be kept external in an external CSS file. We'll do that in one of our next upcoming sections. So let's go ahead and go into our H1 element. We're going to go space and we're going to type in style for CSS, S-T-Y-L-E. And VS Code wants to autocomplete, so we just hit enter. And we can see that VS Code made our equal sign and our brackets. So let's first just set the color of this H1 Web Development Reference Project to something like blue. So we type in blue and then semicolon, colon, H1 style. We can see that VS Code auto-completed the style equals and its open brackets. So now let's just put in color and then hit enter. We can see VS Code put in the colon and also the semicolon to go each side of our properties. So let's type in a color here. We'll just try blue. And we can see on the right hand side, our H1 is now blue text. And if it's not blue for you, just refresh the browser on top. Now we can change this to any color we like. Let's just go ahead and change the color to red. And we can see on the right, it's now red text. So let's go one step further and just put in 2 style rules. The next one, we'll just style the color of the background of this H1. So after the semicolon, we're going to a background color, BACK, and we can see here VS Code wants to autocomplete background color, so we just hit enter. And let's put the background color to something like contrast. We'll just try black and hit enter. And we can see now on the right hand side, the H1 has a black background and red text. And if you can't see it, just refresh on the top of your browser. So to get the files used in this example, the HTML reference project, just go to the GitHub link that's down in the description of this video. You can have a look at it here. So a GitHub repository is just a location on the internet hosted by a company called Git that most developers like to share or store their code in, either for their own use or to share with other developers. The repository on GitHub is just a folder used to store code or files, etc. Let's have a look at each folder. So when we're in the repository here, you can see the name of the repository there, actions along the top. You can see the main folder here, and there's a README file too. So if you want, you can just click onto the folders and see what's inside them
and download the code from there. But to get all the code, you're going to go over here to the code button. We're going to click and download zip file. Once that's downloaded, go into your downloads folder. Then we need to extract it. So we're going to Windows, you're going to right click and extract all. Now let's just have a look at these files in VS Code. So we're going to go to our desktop. We're going to open up Visual Studio Code. And now we're going to open the folder that we just extracted. Open folder on the left. And we're going to go to Downloads. And here we are. And you can see here on the Explorer view on the left, there's the folder we can click to expand. And here's the reference project folder. And here's the HTML file, so we click on that, and there's the code. You can use this for reference or to rebuild your project if something goes wrong.
Hi, I hope you found this video helpful. If so, please like, share, comment and subscribe so you don't miss out on any upcoming videos in the Web Development for Beginners playlist. See you next time.